Okay, sit yourself onto a lift to give you some elevation in swastikasana and cross legs. Just come into cross legs and I've got too many things all over the place here. And just have a little wriggle about. Make sure that you feel like you're sitting evenly. Feel that the seat bones are level. Sorry, something's going wrong. Why does that? Sit in a good cross leg position, have a little wriggle about, make sure that you feel level and even. Hold onto your knees and then elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Look at something on the floor that doesn't move, keeping your eyes still in the sockets, and then focus on drawing in the breath through the nose, in through the nose, fill in the lungs from the bottom to the top, and emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Breathing, if you can, in and out through the nose. After sitting for a few moments, observe whether or not you are indeed sitting with level seat bones, whether they feel like they're evenly placed. If you realise that they're not, and just adjust until they feel level. Because without levelness at the base, there's no evenness of action. Bring your hands into Namaste, press the palms firmly together. Lengthen the hands away from the chest a little, so that you've got space in the armpits. And then allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on filling the lungs fully, filling them from the bottom to the top, breathing into both lungs evenly as you do so. Make the exhalation even with the inhalation if you can. A perfect mirror image of your inhalation. Allow the chest to accommodate the in-breath so that you can inhale without resistance. It's often the end of the breath that is most problematic. So listen to the breath, follow the breath, and just work gently to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. Feel that you can open the chest to accommodate the inhalation. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Gently release the backs of your hands down to the knees. Hold on to the feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then release your head, raise your head, allow your eyes to gently open. Just hold on to your knees for a moment and elevate the heart area upwards, really broadening out the heart area, lifting the sternum and gathering the shoulder blades together. Bring your feet together in konasana. Push the heels consciously together. The classic poses where you reach the toes and hold onto the toes, but I find when I'm lifting, when I'm sitting on a lift, toes are quite difficult to reach, and it makes you kind of drop in the chest. So you can either hold on to the shins and elevate the heart area upwards that way, or get a belt and hold on to the belt so that you've got space to lift up into the chest. So shins or belt, each are equally useful. Push the heels consciously together. Press the outside edge of the feet together. Press the outside edge of the feet. Press the little toes together. Lift up into the chest. Have the arms wide enough, or the elbows wide enough, so that you can really accommodate the breath. Aim to allow the chest to expand to its maximum to maximize that in-breath. We're just going to do a couple of rounds of Brahmari pranayama, just the exhalated hum on a low breath, so that you connect with the resonance of your voice and you find quietness in the brain. So it's normal inhalations and hummed exhalations until the lungs are empty. So just take some normal inhalations, normal exhalations. Take a normal inhalation and then a deliberate exhalation. And then follow that with an inhalation, and then we'll do 5 Brahmaris. And then complete the cycle that you are on, and then bring the breath back to a natural rhythm. Pull in on the belt or the shins and lift in the chest so that it broadens and opens. And then get hold of the knees, just stretch your legs out come back into cross legs, but cross your legs the unnatural way. So the way that you go straight away, just swap the leg so the other leg is in the front of the stack. Hold onto your knees, elevate the heart area upwards. Take a deep inhalation, feeling that resonance in the chest from Brahmari has left a remnant of energy. Turn to the right when you're ready and just observe how the body responds to the pose. Is there resistance? Is there freedom? Do you remain on the front edge of the seat bones? Or do you roll onto the back edge? Try and stay on the front edge. Use each exhalation to turn a little more deeply. Aim to keep your eyes still in the sockets. Come back to the center. Again, just observe how the body feels coming out of the pose. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Just listening to the body's response to the pose. Drawing your attention inwards. Yesterday we were broadening the vision, broadening the span of hearing, to incorporate the lower ear hearing and to really open up the observation. So aim to be inside the pose, through the feeling of the pose. Come back to the center and then come off your lift, just come down to your knees, sit back on your heels. Just observe for a moment the sensation of the kind of sandwich action of the legs, how the thighs and the shins sandwich together. But just let the legs observe rather than activate. Just feel how the thighs feel that gentle stretch just sitting back on your heels. Feel how the shins feel that gentle stretch sitting back on the heels. If you're not used to sitting back on your heels, you'll get more than a gentle stretch, but it will release with time. Consciously push your shin bones into the mat. Push your shin bones into the shin skin so that at the same time your thighs activate. And when your thighs activate, then it's more possible to elevate energy up into the spine. So do that. And then with the straight back, come forwards, hinging at your hips. Keeping the seat bones down on the heels. And then come forwards, bring your forehead down. If you lose the contact between the seat bones and the heels when you bring your head down, then put a block underneath your head. If you lose the contact, if you still lost the contact between the seat bones and the heels, then put a folded blanket between the heels and the ankle, the heels and the seat bones. Activate your arms. Feel where there is a stretch. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. Observe where there are areas of resistance, where there is freedom. And this is sometimes why we had a month off
recently, didn't we? Because I was away on holiday. And so when you come back to the mat, then everything feels a little different, doesn't it? Everything feels a bit tighter. Everything feels a bit more resistant. And then over time, that resistance just quietens a little. But it's really good, I think, sometimes to have that reminder of the resistance of the stiffer body. And so enjoy that feeling of opening up those areas of resistance. Just draw your concentration into the physical body, scanning the body from the hands to the feet, observing where there is freedom, where there is resistance, observing if there is evenness of action from one leg to the other, from one arm to the other, from the legs to the arms, from the legs to the spine to the arms. Just listen to the body. Listen to the body's resistance, listen to the body's freedom, listen to where the body needs space. Keep your focus on the breath as well as in the body. Drawing your focus into the breath is a really good way to bring focus into the body. So if you're struggling to focus the mind into the body, if external thoughts are coming in, then just go to the breath. Step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then get some blocks for your hands. And then place your feet on the edges of your mat so that you can feel that the heels are on the edge of the mat. So you can feel that the little toes are on the end of the mat, on the edge of the mat, sorry. So that you can feel that your toes, your big toes, are closer together than your heels. Just have a quick look. Make sure that what you feel is what you see. Adjust if it's not. Your hands on your hips, lift up into the chest. Broaden the heart area, bring the elbows together, hinge at the hips, and then come forwards, hinging at the hips, and then be on fingertips on the blocks. So just be in the physical pose, feeling the body's response. Listen to the breath. Bring the hands down a little lower if you feel that there's space to do so, if there's no problem with your back. Reach down to the floor if you can, but not at the expense of this, of losing the extension. We don't want this shape. We want straight legs, straight spine. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Keep the front chest long, lengthening from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone, to the chin. And if you can, again, don't do this if you've got a bad back. See if you can draw the chest towards the gap between the legs, keeping the front chest straight. If you can reach around the backs of your heels. Drawing yourself in, but be careful of this action if you've got a bad back. Don't do it if you've got a bad back. Be responsible for your back. Be responsible for your welfare. And then bring
Your hands back down to the floor, projecting into the chin and the chest. Keeping the legs really straight, pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards to give you space to lift the seat bones a little higher. And then bring your hands into your hips and then come up into a standing position. Just be in Tadasana, just observing your breath. So observe the end of the in-breath. Focus on allowing the chest to expand to accommodate the in-breath. Turn the palms all the way out. Stretch your arms forwards, palms facing each other. Really make the palm skin stretch. Turn the palms away from each other, and like you're doing breaststroke, but keep your arms straight initially. Reach behind you, keep rotating the upper arms in the sockets, and then bring the fingertips together and walk the hands up towards the neck. So at first they'll look like this, then consciously wing your elbows behind you. Draw the elbows behind you. Lengthen from your shoulders into your elbows and your elbows into the heels of the hands. And then this action, namaskarasana, makes you lift and open the chest. So if you struggle to bring the heels of the hands together, then consciously lift the chest. Elevate the heart area upwards and see if that gives you a little bit more space to come forward. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Lift your toes to sharpen the action of the legs and hit your shins back so that your weight is in your heels. Lift up into the chest. Keep the chest broad and wide. And then gently release, just drop the chest a little to let go, and then spread the fingers. Spread the palms. So feel where your hands are in your back. Feel where the hands are in the back and how much you have to really broaden from the lower ribs up into the upper ribs, the middle ribs and up into the upper ribs. Broadening the chest. And then breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, keeping that chest lifted and long. Bring your hands onto your hips and lift up into the chest, winging the elbows together so that the shoulder blades come together. Listening to the breath. And then stretch your arms, bring your arms behind you, keep fingertips together, and then walk your hands up the back again. Just this time, maybe feel that your hands, maybe they fly up the back a little more. And then just go back to those stages to bring the heels of the hands together. Lengthen the elbows back, lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows. Lift and open the chest, and then squeeze the elbows towards each other. Feel that there is space in the chest. Step the feet hip width apart. So I'm just going sideways so you can see. Hip width apart and turn your toes in. Be really cautious of this coming forwards if you've got a bad back. Just come halfway at the very most. Come forwards, hinging at the hips. Uttanasana action. Hinging at the hips. Lengthening from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone to the chin. So if you've got a bad back, just stay at this stage at the halfway point. And then if you can, lengthen the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin, and then keep the chest lifted, keep the front chest long as you come forward. And then release the arms down to the floor, and then get hold, if you can, of the big toes. If you can't get hold of the big toes, keep the legs straight in, legs straight, back, straight. If you can't get hold of the big toes, just get hold of the shins so that you just reach forwards, or you can always hold onto a belt around the big toes, and then draw. If you've got hold of the big toes, bend your elbows out to the side and draw the body in towards the gap between the legs. But if you're not there, then just keep your hands on your shins and keep extending the spine away. So a different way of coming into padangusthasana. And then everyone bring your hands back onto the floor, project the chin and the chest forwards, and then walk your hands towards the end of the mat, and then come into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, then just come into Adho Mukha virasana, down on the knees, the first pose we did, stretching the seat bones towards the heels. But in dog down, just feel how there is space around the body where maybe there was a restriction earlier. Just let your head hang down. Let the back of your neck be long. Activate the legs, tighten the kneecaps. Activate the thighs. My legs aren't quite reluctant to work this morning. So you've got to really go into the physical sensation of the pose and identify where there is dullness and activate that dullness, or activate away from the dullness. Okay, everyone come down onto your knees and then sit back on your heels. Sit back on your heels and observe the energy that you've released so far, that feeling of effervescent lightness. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just walk your hands behind you. Have the hands underneath your shoulders. Just for our paryankasana variation, push the heels of the hands into the floor, lengthen into the fingertips. Lift from the wrists and all the way up into the armpits so that the chest lifts and opens. And then turn the tailbone in so that you feel the thighs activate. This might be as far as you want to go, especially if you've got a bad back. But if you want to go a little further, then turn the tailbone in and lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling. If there's no problem with your neck, then extend into the chin. Lifting from the wrists up into the armpits. And then bring your seat bones down back onto your heels. And then just sit yourself back down on the heels, lift up into the chest, lighten the sensation in the arms, just allow the arms to relax. And then come forward into Adho Mukha Virasana, just stretching forwards, keeping the seat bones down on the heels, just having a wriggle into the hips. So aim to open up the side ribs by hitting the seat bones as firmly down as you can, and then lengthen into the arms. Bring the crease of the bring the armpit, chest to face the side walls. So gather the shoulder blades together so that your armpits face the outsides of the room. And then soften. Bring the hands underneath the hips and underneath the shoulders, sorry. And then just sit back on your heels, just again observing your energy, listening to the breath. Okay, just come down onto your back for a moment, down into supta, padangusthasana. Soles of the feet together, knees apart, and then guide yourself down into the floor. Support the thighs with some blocks if there's stiffness in the hips. You can put blocks underneath. The thighs have the same on both sides if you're using them. Otherwise, just allow the body to release down into the floor. In this position, the chest is naturally lifted and open. So observe how the breath feels perhaps a little lighter. Perhaps it's easier to get full, deep inhalations and exhalations. Bring your knees together, the feet apart. Just rest the hips into the floor. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then roll onto your side and then sit yourself up. So we're going to come back into padangusthasana. Have a block on its low side, one on its tall side, and then get your bolster and then bring the bolster up onto the left. This, I need to hoover this. I've got cat hairs all over it. So you might also want a folded blanket for the head end of your bolster, because my bolster sags a little bit at that top end. So that can make your head roll back. So just bring yourself into padangusthasana with the bolster behind you, and then push your hands into the floor behind you, like you're doing that paryankasana action, lifting from the wrists into the armpits, elongating the spine along the bolster, and then just adjust folded blanket so it's underneath the shoulders and underneath the neck and the shoulders. sorry, not the shoulders, the neck and the head. Just pick up the head, lengthen out the back of the neck, and then bring the head back down. So in this pose, just observe how freeing it, you may feel it in the chest. Maybe the breath feels a little freer. Maybe it feels more possible to fill the lungs to the top. So we can do a little bit of Viloma pranayama. So you don't do Viloma pranayama if you've got heart conditions or lung conditions that dictate that you shouldn't hold your breath, because there's some retention involved here. If that is the case for you, then you can just do the first stage, which is the first stage of the breath is where we breathe from the perineum all the way up with the in-breath towards the collarbone. And then from the collarbone with the out-breath, you breathe from the collarbone down towards the perineum. So there's this upward action of the in-breath, downward action of the out-breath. So if any of those things apply to you about heart conditions or lung conditions that prevent you from holding your breath, then just do this first stage. If that doesn't feel right, then just breathe normally. So at this stage, we're all just incorporating that apanic breath. Breathing from the perineum to the collarbone with the in-breath, and the collarbone to the perineum with the out-breath. Okay, once that rhythm feels settled, then we can move into the first stage of Viloma pranayama, which is where you interrupt the in-breath. So it's like you're walking up a ladder. You take an inhalation and then you stop on the first rung of the ladder. You just, at that stage, you just suspend the diaphragm. There should be no clenching. Just suspend the diaphragm, and then after a second or two, you continue that breath and then go to the next rung of the ladder, and then you stop. Again, you suspend the diaphragm, just let the body just be quiet in that moment of no breathing, and then you do the same again. You suspend the breath for a moment, and then you continue to walk up that ladder until the lungs are full. And then a normal exhalation from the collarbone down towards the perineum. So you can either do one cycle and then of interrupted breath, and then normal cycles of breath for a few cycles, or you can do continual interrupted in breaths, normal out breaths. So normal out breaths, interrupted in breaths. So just normal inhalation, normal exhalation, normal exhalation. And then we can begin with the interrupted out breath. Interrupted in breath, normal out breath. So when you're ready, start with a normal exhalation. and then begin. So you continue until the lungs are full, and then just a normal out breath, allowing the lungs to deflate down from the collarbone down to the perineum, and then either normal breathing or continual interrupted in breaths. Never overholding, just a moment for each retention. There should be no tension around the neck or the chest or the forehead as you retain. If you're feeling tension, then you're holding too hard. This should be a really gentle retention. So we just sit in the retentions, allowing the body to be relaxed. Just one more cycle. And then with an exhalation, just bring the breath back to a normal rhythm, just normal inhalations and normal exhalations. If the Setu Bandha started to feel uncomfortable, sorry, not Setu Bandha, supta konasana starts to feel uncomfortable, then just stretch your legs out. So the next stage of Viloma, which we'll do just for a minute or two, is where you take normal inhalations in the same way, rising from the perineum to the collarbone, and then you interrupt the out breath on the way down. Again, never overholding, just sitting peacefully in those retentions until the lungs are empty. So take a normal exhalation, a normal inhalation, another normal exhalation, and then a normal inhalation, and then we will begin. So you exhale until the lung, when you do the interrupted exhalations, you do that until the lungs are empty. Just one more cycle. And then a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation, really releasing down into the floor. If you're still in supta padangusthasana, then just stretch out your legs. Just let the legs relax into the floor. Just allow the breath to come back to a normal rhythm. The next stage, which we're not going to do today, is where you incorporate those two stages. Stage 1 where you interrupt the in-breath, stage 2 where you interrupt the out-breath, stage 3 is where you interrupt both, but we don't have time for that today. You don't need to do all of those stages. That's quite intense, the third stage. Just normal breathing. When you've recovered, push yourself with your hands up into a seated position. Just come into cross legs. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Just observe the energy. You release the energy in the brain and the energy in the neck and the shoulders and the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side, draw in your abdomen across. And then come back to the centre. Hold onto the knees, take a deep inhalation. And then turn to the left. And then gently come back to the centre. Just take the bolster, the blocks away from underneath the bolster. Just come down onto the floor just for a moment or two. Just have a bolster underneath your seat bones. Get out of the shoulder blades and then lengthen the legs up to the ceiling. So we're not going to stay very long. We're almost out of time. Just a gentle inversion, just grounding your energy. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the floor, roll your feet, roll the bolster away, and then just have the bolster underneath your knees. Get your blanket, and then place that underneath the back of your neck and your head. And then allow yourself to just release into the floor. Let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Allow the body to become heavy. Allow the body to release into the ground. As you let go of the physical body, observe how the body feels light on the inside, like the body is full of oxygen. Your body is full of effervescent air. It touches the skin, penetrates into the muscles and into the organs. Almost like the light inside the body is golden. And you just allow that golden light to distribute evenly into the body, into the toes, into the fingers, and up into the top of the head, using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute it. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. Ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bring yourself back into this pose of Shavasana. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Excuse me. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into seated position. Just go into cross legs with your hands in Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Drawing your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Draw your breath into the abdomen, the somatic region. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice, and then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside around the heart area, and send some of that positive energy out into the world, into people, places and things that need our positive energy. Gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy. Viloma is deeply energizing, but in a really calm way. So you should have lots of good focused energy for the rest of the day. So thank you very much for joining me.